Folks, we are back at it. Today we're going to be using this tool to put the lines together. We've got to wire this main line coming down into our conductor system. So right here we have 4 lines. We got a 1-inch black line for our pump from the tank up to the sugar house. The other one on top here is the dry line. On the bottom we have this wet line coming down, and then behind it we have the main line to catch all these. You cannot tie we got a lateral here, you can't tie your laterals into your wet dry system. They have to go into a main line that has to get tied into your wet dry system. So we're going to tie the main line right into the wet line, and then from the dry line we have to run a loop up in the air so that sap won't go. So that's for air vacuum transfer. Folks, I use a pair of cutters. I just cut these few right here. It's a lot easier than trying to, not install them initially, because you got to get everything tight. So it's easier to just come back later when we're done. And the first thing we do is take our main line. Using a 5-gallon bucket for this process is pretty common. You just throw all your fittings in there, all your trash, all your tools. So you've got a certain angle, and it's just nice if you can match that angle as the main line comes in there. So we hold this in line with the main line and then see where that wants to come in, and then that's when we install this. We've still got some main line tying to do, but if we get these in place, we'll be able to come back through. There's posts down through here, a couple up through there, so we'll be able to get everything tightened in place. We're going to go right here. Alright, we got those set. We did 1 inch earlier, the pump line. Make sure this is opened up. Folks, you couldn't hardly see what I was doing. So here we go. This is better. So I'm going to bring this in, cut out my section, expand it, and then throw this in. I do want to tension this line a little bit, but if I tension it this much, in other words, if I bring this out the whole way, cut out that much, and then bring it in, I've already got it tied. So that's not going to work out too well. There's that. Cut out a section just bigger than what we needed to, so that it'll have a little tension. It's good to have a torch, but if you forget it, you just got to do it without. If you have a good memory, you can put your clamps on first. I do not have a good memory, but I did remember this time. We'll put 2 clamps on either side of this. It's not a huge deal if you got to open them up and put them on after. What I do is I'll put 2 on there. Give that first one a little tension so it holds both of them on there. And once your fitting is in there a certain amount, you just got to loosen that back off. Folks, we are back with the torch. Little heat helps. Here's our first one. It's slightly angled up. This line comes in up here, and so we got to drop it down into there. Marker, you want to cut it. What I'm hoping is this is long enough for our dry line whip. I want to find that out momentarily. Alright, so we got to heat this, and then I take the mallet. It's going to be tricky with two, but we can stack it like that, and then I smack the back side of it there. So handy to have two people, but when you don't, you just make it work. Again, if you can remember your hose clamps beforehand, it'll save you about 30 seconds later. So I got that about halfway on there by hand. And I almost just be able to push that right on. See where we're at, make sure we have a nice sweep here. Pretty happy with that. All right, folks, we're gonna call that good. All right, folks, we are in the wet line. We're gonna run a loop to our dry line. What I've done is taken this piece, visualized it, That Y is going to come off this way, and we'll have another Y down here. And that's got to be about like that. So we're going to splice in a Y. This line has not been wire tied, just here and there to keep it up. So we're actually going to tension this line in. It's got a little bit of slack in it, so we're going to be able to use this fitting that we're putting in and give this line a fair bit of tension. If you take your whip and put 2 clamps on right off the bat, then you won't forget them. You'll have one for each end that you'll be able to slide down later on. We're almost there. A little more heat can help. Again, this line is tied all the way up through, so we don't really want to stretch it out too much. So there we are. This main line coming down dives right into the wet line right here at the bottom. And then we got a jumper going into the dry line. So these two lines here, that one over to the left is a main line that catches all these laterals coming off this side hill. So that one will do the same thing. It'll be very close to the tank because we have laterals on these trees down here coming in right toward the end. So that'll get put together. We already put one main line together that goes up toward the spring. So we've got the one going in the gully and two going up to the right over there. So 2 down, 3 to go.